everyone. Today I'm going to introduce you about cats and diseases. Well, first talk about diseases. There are many diseases that can infect many kinds of animals, but they're all. Well, take for example, Lassa virus. The Lassa virus is discovered in 1969 and lives in wild rats around Africa. Lassa virus is not pretty dangerous. Still, the Ebola virus is even worse. But Ebola and Lassa have two that are the same. They can infect other animals, and they can cause death in pregnant women and their babies. So, at least malaria is even worse. Never mind. Let's talk about the filoviruses. Well, the filoviruses are a group of diseases that looks like snakes. Yes, snakes. They can infect cats, dogs, humans, monkeys, guinea pigs, birds, falcons, pretty much every kind of animal, even caterpillars. They could break the lines that separate one species from another, and most of these are lethal, are super lethal, but I said not 100% lethal, not that bad. They contain several filoviruses. Well, not a lot, but 8, at least 8 from 2019. They are named Lake Victoria Marburg filovirus, or Marburg for simple, because it is discovered in German city of Marburg, where it exploded at a factory called Burning Works, and 31 people got infected there. 4 went to heavens, and the rest survived. No, 8 went to heavens. Then the other one called Rave filovirus. Rave filovirus is a virus that, of course, infects just simply like Marburg. But of course, they are all very lethal, and they only infect one person in history. I don't know why, but it never spread to another person. Still, it's better not to talk about this casualty because it's not very important. Rave might break into humans again, but at least not now. And the Ebola filovirus. The Ebola filovirus contains of 6 species. In the time where they were discovered, let's line them up. The first to be discovered, 1976, Ebola Zaire. Second, discovered Ebola Sudan, discovered in Sudan. Well, Ebola Zaire is discovered in Congo. Third, Reston Ebola, discovered in Reston, Virginia, when it exploded in a monkey house there. 4, Thai forest Ebola. It was discovered in Thai National Park and in a forest park, of course. The next, Bundibugyo Ebola. No idea when or where it was discovered. And Bombali Ebola, discovered in Bombali district of Sierra Leone. All types of Ebola are lethal. Any kind, wrestling Ebola, Thai forest Ebola, Bundibugyo Ebola, any of them are lethal. The most lethal is of course Zaire Ebola virus, the first Ebola to be discovered and named. Yes, it just gone from kind of animal to a bloodstream of somebody. Then it's spread to Yambuku Catholic Mission Hospital, and nuns died there for some mysterious reason. And after 2 weeks, it was named Ebola. Well, actually, I don't want to talk about symptoms. I already talked about it, and it's too brutal. But I have to say, Ebola has an incubation of 2 to 21 days. and its Syria Ebola is 90% lethal, and Sudan Ebola is 50% lethal. Lake Victoria Marburg virus is 25% to 40% lethal. Raven virus is 70% lethal. Western Ebola is around 10% lethal, and so on. So, as you can see, Ebola is complicated. Citation needed. But it's not very important. Still, it's important because you never know. Last time it happened, it was in 2014 when Ebola broke out in West Africa and ran wild. I don't know, but I think a boy got bitten by a fruit bat or something, or ate a groggy bat. Well, bats have stronger immune systems than humans do because they flap around. That's why their immune systems are strong. They have strong DNA repair facilities, so most cats don't die of a disease. They still live very nice lives. And the viruses are related to mumps, monkeypox, rabies. Well, the rabies is almost always lethal, but not always. It's just like 95%. And if you get the rabies vaccine, then it's fine, but only in 4 days, or your body will react too slowly to stop what's happening. The rabies particle is shaped like a bullet, and if you stretch it out, a bullet, it begins to look like a cable. And if you coil it, it looks like a rope. That looks just like Ebola and the viruses. Still, as you can see, why can it transfer so easy in humans? Well, in almost every kind of animal, of course. Dolphins, bats, any kind, actually. Well, there is a machine to detect if you have Ebola or the viruses. It's very easy. You just have to take your blood sample and put it in the PCR machine for detecting Ebola. Then you'll go for 2 hours until you get detected of Ebola or not. So it's possible that you won't get Ebola. It could be malaria because the symptoms are probably red eyes, bleeding to third space, black vomit, so on. Still, remember this. Never ever don't go to a hospital if you have Ebola, unless if it's a huge outbreak. And the crisis of 2014, it's because the people there don't believe viruses. Of course. Well, you will panic if somebody came in and said, "Oh, your cat has a serious virus. You must take the cat away to some hospital somewhere." And then you might scream. You might panic. And anyway, remember, there is a medicine for Ebola and the viruses, so don't be panicked. And rabies, there are the rabies vaccine, right? And then the other thing is, let's talk about some other kinds of diseases. Still, I don't know what to talk about. The common cold caused by rhinoviruses. Well, if you don't get rhinoviruses, it's dangerous. Why? Because your immune system could be weaker. So be careful. The other thing is, a bacteria just causes infection instantly. Anyway, there's some kinds of diseases that are bad and are treatable, like HIV or AIDS. HIV or AIDS, well, probably came from some kind of animal and transferred into somebody's bloodstream in 1910, around 1910 or so. Then HIV is a terrible disease since it mutates rapidly. But there is a drug to stop HIV from mutating. Still, it's a terrible disease. Anyway, it only spreads in blood, so it's not very infective. Even if it's very lethal, it doesn't kill everybody it gets, but still, it's pretty much lethal. Still, don't worry, it doesn't spread by saliva or urine because urine or saliva has a pretty low concentration of HIV or AIDS particles. So you don't have to be too worried about if somebody just spread out some saliva drops into your face, and then you don't have to be too worried because it doesn't spread by air or water. It only spreads by blood. So you don't have to be too worried about it, just because several diseases spread by blood. So be careful. If you have a cut and someone's cut is just that simplest, then you'll still get it. Because hepatitis A and hepatitis B are both caused by this. It spreads by blood. Anyway, Ebola can spread by air. Nobody has ruled out the possibility of it not spreading by air. Why? Because Western Ebola is spread by air and also water. Because I think Western Ebola probably evolved to be better. Of course, to be better at spreading by air. Maybe it became a dry virus, a virus that can stop the microscopic flakes of saliva and then spread by long distances. This is possible. And Ebola or any disease is not the worst of the diseases in the world. That cruel probably belongs to Nipah, a disease spread by bats and came on to pigs and spread to humans. It spreads by air, blood, and bodily fluids. Consider Nipah, of course. It causes personality changes and quickly turns to the liquefaction of the brain. Still, don't worry about that, because Nipah is only moderately infective, but still you have to be careful because it spreads by air, remember. Still, Ebola isn't totally airborne. It doesn't totally spread by air because there is Ebola also causes coughing, so it can spread by air, but only for a few feet. So if you wear a mask, it's okay. Just remember, don't let any blood fall on any surface because it's dangerous. Still, there is a medicine for Ebola. Still, it can only be used on adults because on children, it didn't work very well, of course. So, that medicine called the map can react extremely rapidly. Like after an hour, you can stand up in bed and then pee. Yes. Then it can even save 18 monkeys. All of the 18 monkeys that have been tested into, and the monkeys were injected like a liter of Ebola particles. So remember, Ebola is dangerous, maybe. Although it can infect a lot of animals, it's not that dangerous because it can easily be stopped. Still, in the crisis of 2014, that's how it spread. The local farmers didn't believe it, and then they just spread it. It spread and spread and spread into Sierra Leone, Libya, Guinea, and even spread to Nigeria, Spain, England. Well, in England, no one died, and only one person became sick. 2 in the United States and 1 in Spain. So Ebola is a terrible disease, but it can be stopped. Unless the local people didn't believe in viruses, of course. Probably because the people wash the body. And anyway, Ebola victims sweat profusely of a mixture of Ebola particles and sweat. And if you wash it, then you collect the loss of Ebola. And that's how the virus spread. It spread very quickly after a funeral. And people traced back at least 4,000 cases to the funeral. The other 1,000 cases are around because of another strain. Still, the Corona strain is actually pretty bad. It could even be more lethal than Zaire Ebola and more effective. You never know. If you don't dare, well, you should search for it. And I think this is the end of my video. Goodbye.